Hi, I'm Stella, and I used to drink a lot.
Hi, I'm Stella, and this is my first drink of the night.
I'm drinking a pina colada.
The last time I was really drunk was on May 23rd of 2026. Since then, I've had 2 drinks on June 19th. I had 2 drinks on the 4th of July, and I had 1 drink on July 10th. Today is the 25th of July, so technically I am 2 weeks sober. I want to talk about my relationship with alcohol, how my perspective on alcohol has changed, and why I am choosing to be sober for the near future. I drank very heavily in college. I think you could definitely say that I was a party girl. I started drinking every single weekend my freshman year. I drank a couple of times in high school, but I would say that my heavy drinking didn't start until I was 19 years old, and I drank heavily up until about January of this year. That's about 4 years of consistent binge drinking. Although I would like to say, oh, I regret all of it, I really don't. I had a lot of fun. I met a ton of people. I studied abroad twice. It was a big part of the business school of where I went to college, and the mentality was very work hard, play hard. So it was really hard to kind of escape the alcohol. I definitely partook in it. I think if you asked people who knew me in college if I drank, I think that they would be like, oh yeah, Stella's a heavy drinker. And I think that a lot of people who knew me in college would be completely shocked by this decision. Honestly, I am a little bit too. I've educated myself a lot on alcohol recently, and I just kind of took a step back and thought about if this is how I wanted to live my life going forward. I recently learned that alcohol is a category 1 carcinogen, which basically means it causes cancer. And I didn't know that. I don't know how I didn't know that. I mean, everyone knows that cigarettes cause cancer. Everyone knows that certain drugs are bad for you, but alcohol for some reason is almost in this special category where it is still considered completely normal to drink a lot and, you know, have it be part of your weekly routine, and no one really bats an eye. If anything, people are more questioning of the sober ones. My sister chose to be sober from alcohol a year ago. She recently had her 1 year of sobriety. I know for her it was very anxiety inducing telling people, because she didn't want to be asked, oh, why are you sober? Did you have a problem? Like, etc. People are very questioning of why you're sober, but no one seems to necessarily question if you still drink regularly and if you drink too much sometimes. And I think especially in college, it's extremely normalized to drink way too much and just brush it off. I did a lot of really, really stupid things in college because of alcohol. I gave myself a 2-inch forehead scar that will be on my face forever because of drinking. The people I dated in college were very much into drinking, and our relationships were just kind of pointless looking back. A lot of the fights we had were because of alcohol. A lot of the fights I got in with my friends in college were due to alcohol, and just a lot of the decisions I made that I do regret were because of alcohol. Also, some of the meanest things I have said to people have been when I was drinking. I really regret some of the things I have said to people, some of the things I did. I have hurt a lot of people because of how I acted when I was drunk. There's a lot of things I did in college where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, why did I do that? Why did I say that? And I've definitely hurt people because of alcohol. The fact that I act that way while I'm drinking and I no longer want to hurt people in that way, I think is also a little bit of a sign that this is a good decision for me. In college, I think it's really easy to get wrapped up in drinking culture and party culture, and I think that there is a time and place for that. Again, I have so many fond memories of studying abroad and going out with my girlfriends and just having a really fun time, but I also have a lot of memories of crying, hurting my friends' feelings by saying something I didn't mean, spending a ton of money, losing things. Like, a lot of bad stuff also goes along with partying. I've been kind of on a self-growth kick here. I'm also really into challenging myself. I get a lot of fulfillment out of accomplishing a goal. I thought, you know what, this one seems a little bit daunting to me, but I'm gonna go for it. I did dry January for the first time my senior year of college, and I remember being terrified. I was so scared to do dry January in college, and that's why I did it. I was like, the fact that I am so scared to give up alcohol for 31 days is kind of scary to me. Like, why do I feel so connected to this substance? And I ended up completing it, and it wasn't like hard for me or anything. The hardest part was being able to stay awake when I went out with my friends, because alcohol keeps you awake. And then I did dry January again in 2026, and again it went fine. I didn't really have a problem with it, but I went back to drinking both times after. The hangovers were still horrible. I still made poor decisions. I still cried a lot, still spent a lot of money. As I've gotten older, it's just less funny when you drink too much or you do something stupid. I think that the funniness gets kind of taken out of the poor decision making the older you get. Freshman year, everyone's an idiot. Sophomore year, everyone's still kind of stupid. Junior year and senior year, you start to get a little bit more judgy of the people who can't handle their alcohol. I think that now that I'm 23, I do not want to be one of those people who can't handle their alcohol. I'm pretty good most of the time, but there are definitely nights when it gets away from me and I end up doing things I am not happy with and I'm not proud of. I'm just kind of done with that. I don't want to do it anymore. Honestly, going out has really lost its appeal for me. I don't really understand why I thought it was so fun. But I did. I loved it. But now I would not choose to go out. I would rather stay in or go to dinner with my friends and, do something a little bit more wholesome. I'm also not gonna lie, physically, I simply cannot take it anymore. My hangovers used to only last a morning. I would wake up on a Sunday morning and my hangover would be gone by noon. As I got older through college, I would be hungover all of Sunday, but by Monday I was fine. Within my senior and post-grad year, my hangover started to last Sunday and Monday, and then more recently, they have been lasting Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And I can't handle that. I have work. My job is 100% in person for the next 6 months. I cannot be hungover at work. I can't do good work. I can't focus. I don't want to sit there and feel horrible while I'm at work. So it really doesn't make sense for me to get drunk. And you might be saying, well, Stella, why don't you just have one or two? I'm also one of those people where I don't see the point in drinking alcohol unless you are trying to get a buzz or trying to get drunk. I don't want to drink empty calories for no reason. I also don't like the taste of alcohol. So why would I have one or two drinks if I'm not even enjoying it or getting a pleasurable feeling out of it? I have also gotten much more into my physical well-being. I have been really trying hard in the gym. I've started to run again, and I just don't really want to set myself back by continuing to drink alcohol, because it really does destroy a lot of the work you're doing in the gym. And I have seen videos where people are like, oh, you're trying to get better in the gym. Step number 1, stop drinking alcohol. And I remember being like, no, it's fine. Like, it's fine if I still drink. Let me tell you, I have looked the most toned in my entire life. My stomach is the flattest it has been in my entire life, and I haven't necessarily lost weight. I just don't have that constant bloating that comes from drinking alcohol. I also feel better every single day. I no longer wake up and feel like death. I can just wake up on a Saturday, go for a run, and have a great day. Like, today's a Saturday. I woke up, I went for a run. I'm filming this video at my parents' house. We're going to dinner tonight, and I'm going to a live concert outside. I got to sleep in. I feel amazing. Instead of having woken up being severely dehydrated, exhausted, having anxiety, coming to my parents' house, not really wanting to go to dinner with them, not wanting to go to this concert, and just spending my day on the couch. I don't want those days anymore. I don't think that it's worth it. I watched a video on going sober the other day, and something that they said that really stood out to me was not being hungover feels better than being drunk. And I completely agree with that. I have felt the best I have felt in my entire life this past couple of months. And you might be saying, well, you still drank 2 weeks ago. Yes, but I didn't get hungover. The last time I was hungover, I was in California on a girls' trip, and we went out in San Francisco. And I got really, really drunk. And the next day, we were driving to the vineyards and we were going to go to the redwood forest. I felt horrible. I was driving through beautiful California, laying in the back seat, shaking because I didn't want to throw up in the rental car. And that whole day was just ruined for me. I still, made it to the vineyard. I tried the wine, but I had chronic anxiety. My stomach hurt. I looked horrible. I felt horrible. And I was like, man, I'm posting on social media that I'm having a great trip and I'm at this vineyard in California with my best friends, but I feel terrible. And I never want to waste a vacation again. I never want to feel like I wasted a day being in a beautiful place ever again. I'm not saying that I will never drink again, but I think for now I want to enjoy my life sober. I wouldn't say that I had a drinking problem. I think that things are really brushed under the rug in college. You can get away with a lot without being considered someone who has a drinking problem. I was also in a business frat for some stupid reason. I hated it because everyone was super toxic. But anyways, a big part of that fraternity surrounded around alcohol, and if you were the pledge who drank so much you threw up, it was almost applauded. We would have this night where you and your big would share your family drink, and it would be like a fifth, and you had to finish it. I did end up dropping that fraternity, but that's just to show you what kind of culture I was surrounded by when I first got introduced to alcohol. It was very hidden from me as a kid. My parents don't drink very much, and they were kind of very hush-hush about it. So when I got to college, that was my first exposure to unlimited alcohol. My sister is 2 years older than me, so when I started college, she was 21, so I could get whatever I wanted. Just had a lot of drama in my life that stemmed from alcohol. And, looking back on some of those friendships that I lost, I don't know if we were a good match anyway, but it definitely, the drama and the hurt feelings was amplified because of the alcohol. I really feel like in college, I was a different version of myself. And I feel like this past year, being out of college, I have reconnected with who I am at my core, and it doesn't involve alcohol. I was a very musical kid. I was in band. I loved it. I played ultimate frisbee as a kid. I played soccer. I was very into being outdoors. And in college, my life kind of began to revolve around partying, drinking, poor decision making. I kind of lost myself a little bit, especially in the relationships I was in. I don't really recognize that person as much anymore. I don't hate her. I don't hate my prior version of myself. I just think I'm moving on, and I'm moving to a place where I'm much happier. I feel so much more like Stella than I have in years. And that's kind of scary to realize, but it's also very comforting knowing that I am back to who I want to be, and I'm reintroducing those hobbies of mine into my life. I'm joining an Ultimate Frisbee League. I'm auditioning for a musical, which is so out of my comfort zone, but I'm really excited for it. And those are things that I would have scoffed at in college and been like, that is embarrassing. That's so cringy. But I feel like with being sober and enjoying things in life without needing alcohol, you kind of find what hobbies you are really naturally interested in. And that happens to be for me music and exercise and ultimate frisbee, for example. I think also with alcohol, it's, as I said earlier, it's kind of in this special category. It ruins people's lives. It is not something to be taken lightly, but it is. I know a lot of people from college that I see really cementing bad habits in their 20s, still going out every weekend. And I'm not necessarily judging them, because if you want to drink, that is totally your prerogative. I will never ever judge someone who still drinks alcohol, even though I'm choosing not to now. But I do worry that the habits that you are making in your 20s will continue into your 30s and your 40s, because I see some of the people that my parents are friends with, and the ones who still drink alcohol, it is an issue. I don't want it to be an issue for me. I don't want to be friends with people who think that blacking out every weekend and losing tons of money at the casino is funny. I don't think it's funny anymore. I think that we are now adults and we have to be more practical and serious about our finances and who we choose to be friends with and how we choose to spend our time. Honestly, unfortunately, alcohol is more part of the lifestyle that I don't want. I think moving forward, I'm gonna be a lot more intentional about who I'm friends with and how they spend their time. And I remember when my sister got sober, I was in college still, and I judged her very heavily for it. And I thought she was super lame. And I remember her saying, like, it's not about the alcohol, it's about the lifestyle. And I didn't really understand what that meant, but I kind of get it now. Like, it's not specifically that you drink alcohol, it's the lifestyle that comes with drinking alcohol. The binge drinking, the poor decision making, the blacking out, the hurting people's feelings, all of that stuff that comes with alcohol that doesn't come with being sober. I'm kind of making this video to just highlight some of the issues that I had with alcohol in my life and how I'm thinking about it differently, and also to show that you don't have to, go sober because you had a problem. I don't think I had a drinking problem. I think I just drank too much. Like, it happened a little too often, and I just don't really want that to happen in my life anymore. To also show that, like, I'm 23 years old. I've only been legal drinking age for 2 years. I am choosing to walk away from it. Do with this what you will. If you want to choose to continue to drink alcohol, do it at your own risk. It's your body. But as for me, I am choosing to feel better, to save money, and to avoid all of the problems that come with that lifestyle. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I will hopefully provide an update of how long I chose to be sober. I'm thinking definitely through the end of the year. Maybe I'll realize, okay, maybe I do want to have a drink here and there. Or maybe I'll realize I don't miss it at all. We'll see.